Hi, this is Derek. Welcome back to 31 Days of Oscar. Of course, this month I'm talking about movies that were nominated for or have won the Academy Award for Best Picture. Today is February 14th, 2016, Valentine's Day, baby. So what better day to talk about the movie Moulin Rouge, which is a 2001 film nominated for Best Picture of the Year, which is a celebration of freedom, beauty, truth, and above all things, love. So it is a love story, of course, and I know, well, like going into this, I'll just say I know there are people out there who like can't fucking stand this movie, just can't really, I don't know, compress to its erratic kind of tone, pace, because it is kind of, this is one of those movies that'll say kind of like even like Juno or something like that, where like just get through the first 10 to 15 minutes, you'll be okay. But even some who can, just don't quite like it. So there are those who like really hate this movie, and those who really love this movie and think it's something special. And I'll consider myself in the latter. I do really love this movie. I think it is something special and is one of the most inventive and daring and I'd say unique movie musicals of all time, really. And what I like about it the most is that even though it is a love story, it's not really. Well, the thing is, okay, if you're going into this movie for plot, right, you're not going to find anything groundbreaking. You're not going to see them reinvent the wheel. Basic plot of the movie is the penniless writer, he falls in love with the Satine character, who's the headliner of the Moulin Rouge, and she has to choose between the penniless writer and the douchebag Duke, who's the rich man. And apparently it's based, or at least inspired by 3 different operas whose names I can't recall, and even if I could, I wouldn't be able to pronounce. But basically, like knee-jerk reaction, you'll think, yeah, this is kind of like Titanic, even like right down to the rich douchebag having like his like burly manservant carrying around the gun and threatening people. So kind of reminds you of that. So it's like it's a very basic type of love story, of course, even amounting to tragedy in the end, where they live, they love, they conflict, they have a wonderful time together, but then one of them dies, which isn't a spoiler because we learn pretty early on that Satine dies in the end. We learn in like the first 5 minutes, so that's not really a spoiler, but it's not really about that. So I mean, you're not going to it for the plot. You're going for it for like a certain spirit of the movie. Where this movie, I mean, it really believes in what its characters believe in. It does believe in like the truth and beauty and freedom, all things love, and that aside, what I love about the movie is its use of music. I mean, this is a musical, but it's done in a different way. It uses, instead of its own original kind of log of originally written songs, it uses already established songs. And the thing about that is that it doesn't do it for like, like a novelty kind of sake, Okay, so like perfect example of that would be like something like A Knight's Tale, where they're like, hey, this is a medieval knight's tale, but let's throw in fucking Queen's "We Will Rock You." That's kind of fun, kind of cute, and that's the extent of it. It is a novelty, and not that I'm knocking the Knight's Tale. It's a fine movie, but with Moulin Rouge, it takes this modern music, and it is able to use it in a unique way. It's able to do something with it aside from, okay, hey, this takes place in turn of the century France, but we're hearing modern music. Isn't that funny? Isn't that cute? No, it's more than that, and I think it's able to use its licensed music in very effective ways, in ways that make sense to the ideals and the spirit of the movie, and kind of where the plot is going in the movie. Like almost like right away in the movie, in the opening scene where the penniless writer, it's Ewan McGregor, and he runs into the whole production. They're planning this revolutionary new musical, and they're trying to figure everything out, and he helps them out, and they're all happy about it. They're celebrating, and they belt into a celebratory song, and it's a fuse of T-Rex's Children of the Revolution and Rodgers and Hammerstein's The Hills Are Alive with the Sound of Music. So seeing that like fuse of music is just so different, so unique. And of course, going to the Moulin Rouge, going into this hyper energetic fever dream can number with like a medley of Lady Marmalade and Smells Like Teen Spirit and Diamond Dogs and Lord knows what else, So it's able to do interesting things with the music instead of just saying, oh, here it is, isn't that funny, isn't that cute? So I really love that, and they are able to use the music and change it around in such a way that really fits with the story. Of course, we have the obligatory scene where the lovers are, conflicting for the first time. We have Christian is the writer's name, and Satine is Nicole Kidman, and he's like trying to convince her about love and everything like that. And he's of course belting out lyrics from all these love songs like "I was made for loving you, baby," and David Bowie's "Heroes," "We Could Be Heroes," "I Will Always Love You," Dolly Parton, things like that. And of course, in the early year scene, a great rendition of "Your Song." Made popular by Elton John, but originally by Billy Paul, and like a tango version, like the Police's Roxanne reimagined as a tango, like that. It's just such great stuff, and like this kind of like upbeat version of Madonna's like a Virgin too, like where like it begins where it's it's a scene where Jim Broadbent playing Zidler, kind of the head of the Moulin Rouge. He's trying to distract the Duke and convince him that Satine is off somewhere else. She's confessing, she wants to see a priest and be born again, and things like that. Then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, are they? They're just talking normally, but are they citing lines from Like a Virgin? Then all of a sudden they bust down into Like a Virgin. So it's stuff like that, and you'll notice that its use of music and its careful choices, it does move the plot along, and they're very specific choices. So it's not just a novelty. So I think that's one of the great pleasures of movies. Like this is something if you are a lover of music, if you do believe that these silly little love songs, they do come from a real place, that their spirit means something. I think it's effective in that sense, and of course, the musical scenes are just incredible. And who would have thought that Ewan McGregor and Nicole Kidman were such great, talented singers? Like they are amazing in this movie, and like I don't think either of them had done a musical like this before. Well, like I don't know about Nicole Kidman, but I know like Ewan McGregor was in that sort of semi-David Bowie movie, Velvet Goldmine, where he's like singing and like he like strips and shows off his dick, and well, he shows off his dick in a lot of movies, but I admire that in an actor. But anyway, here it's like full-fledged musical, and they're singing, and it's wonderful, it's great, and of course the movie wouldn't have worked without their great musical performances, and you really got to give the movie credit for kind of reviving the musical, which aside from like Disney movies, you didn't see too many musicals. Like, what the fuck was that? I was talking about like Woody Allen movies previously, like Everyone Says I Love You. Like, what the fuck was that? But anyway, great musical numbers, and it's just a great visual movie. It's a movie where there's no real kind of rules. Of course it's set in a certain time frame, but it doesn't limit itself to a period piece or anything like that. Obviously, it's very different. It's a surreal movie. We see kind of just almost dreamlike kind of visuals to its set pieces, which I think is very effective and very something different. And of course, it does have again an erratic pace to it, which maybe just some people didn't quite like, didn't respond to. But I think it gives it its unique flavor and its absolute perfect tone to the movie. It's something different. Again, I do think it's one of the best musicals. I'm not like the hugest fan of musicals, but this is something that I can really sink my teeth into, and I think it is quite a triumph of a movie. And Nicole Kidman and Ewan McGregor, they're great in their roles. Jim Broadbent, great. John Leguizamo playing the little dwarf, he's really great too. So all this is done spectacularly, and the movie it's so good that it directed itself, because it wasn't nominated for Best Director, so obviously it couldn't have been directed by anybody. Oh wait, let's see. Oh, Baz Luhrmann directed the movie. That's probably like one of the biggest snubs in Oscar history. Baz Luhrmann being snubbed for Best Director, probably in favor of David Lynch for Mulholland Drive, which is fair enough, but it's like, wow, man. But he did a great job in this movie, so I hope there's no hard feelings there. Was nominated for Best Picture, didn't win, lost to A Beautiful Mind, and likely if A Beautiful Mind didn't win, probably would have went to Lord of the Rings, but who knows. Do I think it should have won Best Picture? Probably not. I would say, I don't know, I really liked A Beautiful Mind and Gosford Park, In the Bedroom. Those are all really good movies. But this definitely, it deserved a nomination. I'm glad it got it. And I think, in back in those days when it was, you could only get 5, I think they made a right choice by squeezing this one in. Definitely it's something that I'll say, if you don't like it, if you're among the people who kind of just can't stand the movie, it's definitely worth giving another chance. This is one of those movies, I think it improves upon repeat viewings, because there's I was just watching it last night, there's things like you can totally miss in this movie, like little lines here and there. They're like, oh yeah, that is a song that they're citing there. So there's always something new that I can take out of this movie, and it's a new experience every single time, which you can't say about every movie. Some movies you know exactly what you're getting. Here it's a very new experience with each time. So I think it's a great musical celebration, and using modern music to tell this story. And I think, even though it doesn't reinvent the wheel with its love story, there is a truth to it. There is a beauty to it, and it has its freedom to it, in that these two characters kind of are freed from their lives, bound by their love, and just they could be heroes for just for one day, right? And that's really what it's all about. And love is a many splendid thing. What can I say? So, this Valentine's Day, why don't you check out Moulin Rouge if you're all alone, or watch it with someone you love, and maybe you'll appreciate it more. So that's my review of Moulin Rouge. I love it. I think it's great. Count me in the camp that appreciates the movie, thinks it's something special. Be sure to keep an eye out for more 31 Days of Oscar reviews. I have plenty more to come. Until then, comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. Visit Derek237.com. And until next time, I'll see you later. And I love you.